Hi, Kenny Kemp here. Wanted to talk to you today a little bit about my second book. Last time we spoke about I Hated Heaven. My second book really, though, was more like the entry into writing that most beginning writers dream of, which is a small idea which becomes a major success, and the overnight success kind of the story that is often misconstrued as overnight, when of course it takes years to get prepared to do the kind of stuff that anybody needs to do to be successful in any given field. But when they do finally achieve competence in what they're doing, and people notice it, then it becomes, oh, I didn't know who he was yesterday, today I do. That's overnight. In my case, I had published I Hated Heaven, and it had done really well for me, but it was a self-published book, and I had such a good time doing it that I thought, well, my next story, which kind of came about naturally, is something that I would like to self-publish again as well. It started out as a basically an essay in a little journal here called Dialogue. Didn't think it was any big deal. I just thought it's a good enough short little story about my father and I, and some of the experiences that we'd had together, and how I grew to appreciate him more as time went by. The surprise about that was that it became an award winner that year that it was published. It won the Best Personal Essay Award, and I was pulled aside by a master of the personal essay, a fellow named Eugene England, who was an English professor. He said, "This is really good. I hope you have more of that." And I left that experience with the little award thinking, well, maybe there is more to this story. And so I began to kind of expand it and to write some more chapters. And I didn't really have a flow or a theme involved at the time. And I've come to appreciate more how important that is. Talk about that later. But I put it together in a book after the pieces got big enough, and decided I would publish it as a small gift book called Dad Was a Carpenter. One of my sisters, who's an artist, did the visuals for it, the graphics, and then another sister had some poetry which I liked, which we put in the back. Because I had had good experience publishing I Hated Heaven, I also had this published myself. And I had a friend of mine named Bruce Cheever. We worked together for an architectural firm in college as artists. I had Bruce do a picture that I really liked that I used for the cover of the book. Put it out there with an outfit called Origin Book. And we went off to Book Expo in Chicago, gave away hundreds of copies of the book, which I paid for, which was a little alarming when I walked into the display area where their booth was. They had a stack of the books this high in kind of a circular fashion, stacked one on top of each other. And there was a line, probably seemed like 300 people long. Of course, people will wait in line for anything free. And so I signed copies of the book that day, and was very excited because it was kind of like my first real taste of the gigantic big book business. And I walked around Book Expo and saw the major publishers and met a couple of major authors and thought, well, I dipped my toe in there. We'll see what happens.